Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I hope that you are all good. In today's video, we are going to do an autumn gel polish design using the new Kiki London Fall into Winter collection. I absolutely love this collection. It is stunning. I did swatch it over on the Kiki London YouTube channel, so I will leave that linked in the description box below. But for now, let's jump in to creating a fun yet easy gel polish design using these shades. Now, my goal for this design is I wanted there to be lots of rich colors coming through, and I wanted it to look quite elegant. I wanted lots of copper. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy watching. Now I've done one coat of creme brulee on the first nail and we've popped that in to cure, and then whilst that's curing, I'm going to take the colors that we're going to be using in our marble for this nail. So we're going to be using Espresso, which is that gorgeous dark intense shade. It's got a hint of purple to it, but it has got lots of brown coming through. Then we're going to use Mocha Milk, which is a really creamy brown, and then Chestnut Brown, which is actually a very reddish brown. It is the perfect chestnut color. And then lastly, I'm going to add in some copper dust. Now this color is absolutely stunning. I found it really hard to pick a favorite out of this collection because each of the colors, they stand alone. They're very unique. They're all must-haves. But if I had to just tell you guys, if you could only afford one, grab copper dust. Is absolutely beautiful. So we're going to do a marble with these colors. So on this first now, I'm going to come in with a layer of blooming gel, and I'm going to apply this to the entire nail. We're going to leave this wet and we're going to place down our gel polish colors into it. Now we are going to do a marble on the second nail as well, but I do that slightly differently. So with this one, I'm going to leave the colors as they are on the palette, and I'm going to just scoop through them using a nail art brush and just lay them down into that wet blooming gel, kind of twisting my brush as we get down towards the bottom part of the nail. And then I'm going to do the same again. I wanted the Espresso and the Mocha Milk to be up the top of the nail, and then kind of fading in to the Chestnut Brown and the copper dust. I'm then going to come and take my stripe liner brush and just pull through these colors a little bit more. And I'm basically just pulling that marble around to where I want it to go. I did kind of want to do a full marble now, but I didn't care too much if you could still see a little bit of that creme brulee underneath, because we are going to layer some foils on the top of this. So I did then just pop this straight into cure because I really loved how that marble was looking and I didn't want it to start blooming or running anymore. Then we're going to come in with a layer of the Kiki London foil gel. So I'm going to apply a thin coat of this over the entire nail, and then once you pop this into cure for 30 seconds, it is going to become super tacky, so it will grab on to your foils and give you a really good foil application. So for my foils, I'm going to be using the classic metallics from Kiki, and I'm going to take this matte one because we've got some shimmery copper coming through. I thought a matte copper would work beautifully in this design, so I'm just going to cut off a small piece of this for this first nail design, and we do end up doing some more foils on one of the other nails as well. So I've got my nail tip out of the lamp and I'm just pressing very lightly down into that cured foil gel because I don't want to create like a full coverage patch. I kind of just want to have a little bit of this running through the marble, if that makes sense, just covering up any areas that look a little bit plain. So I'm kind of really pressing down lightly just because otherwise you'll get a very full coverage and we're just not wanting that effect. Then we're going to come in and with our top coat, I completely lost my train of thought there. So I'm going to come in with the Kiki London No Wipe top coat and top coat to seal everything in. We're going to use this same top coat throughout the set when it comes to top coating the nails. And then we're going to pop this in to cure for 30 seconds, and that is our first nail done. I really loved the layered effect it gave by having the foil over the marble. It just gave the nail some depth. Onto the second nail, I've already done 2 coats of creme brulee, and we're going to be doing a kind of like another marble nail. It wasn't meant to be a full marble. We'll talk about it as we get through it, but I'm coming in with my blooming gel, applying a thin coat of this, and then for this marble design I swirled the colours together on my palette because I didn't want that too defined pattern. And then originally what my plan was just to go around the edge of the nail and kind of leave the centre as creme brulee, but I don't know if it was because we're working on quite a long stiletto nail tip, it just wasn't looking right. So here I am kind of just like, oh, this isn't looking how I wanted it to look. This is going to happen sometimes in nails, and you can either wipe it off and start again, or you can kind of just work with what you've got. And that's what I did today. Because the design is just for content, I'm not working on a client who's got a specific design in mind. So I'm going in with my stripe liner brush and just kind of swirling those colors together just to get a bit more of a smooshy pattern. And then originally, if this had gone to plan, I was going to stamp some leaves in the center, but what I decided to do was cure our marble and then come in with a layer of top coat, and then I thought I would just hand paint some leaves over the entire nail. So if I was to do this again, I just wouldn't bother leaving that space in the center. It did give off kind of like a bit of a gemstone look at this point, but anyway, because I was going to be doing some hand painting, I'm going to buff my top coat so we've got a matte surface. I find it a lot easier to hand paint over a buffed or matte surface, and if you haven't got a matte top coat, just buffing with your regular buffer does a great job. Then I'm going to dust off all of the excess, and then for my hand painting I'm going to be using the Kiki London black gel paint. So I'm popping some of this down onto my brush. You can use it straight from the pot, but I find it a little bit easier on a palette just to work my brush through. And then we're going to go on and draw on, I kind of wanted to go for like a trio of leaves. So I started off by drawing my leaf and then just pulling a stem down. And then I'm going to go in and do my second leaf slightly far away from the stem, and then just give it its own little stem to connect up to the main stem. Now the reason why I like hand painting over a matte surface is because then your gel paint or your gel polish, it runs a lot less, so you get nice sharp defined lines when it comes to doing your hand painting. I'm going to still say that this is an easy design to do because I struggle so much with hand painting, but I've managed to get these kind of simple leaves perfected. So even if you are a beginner, this is a fairly easy design to do. Then I decided to just pretty much fill the nail with these kind of long flowy swooshy leaves, as you can see here. So I just did the exact same to cover the nail a little bit more, and then I'm going to come in with my dotting tool and just dot on some little black dots here and there just to give it a little something extra. I was thinking to come in and do these as isolated chrome because isolated chrome works really well with the gel paints, but I didn't want to take too much away from that marble underneath. So if this had been a plain base, I think it would have looked nice with these leaves being chrome. But anyway, we're then going to come in and top coat once again with our no wipe top coat, and that is our second design done. I thought this looked absolutely beautiful in the end. Then on to the third now, we're going to come in and do a base of Espresso. Now I really love this colour. I love a dark, it's kind of got purple coming through it, but I feel as though because it's called Espresso, you're drawn to saying brown, but it has this kind of rich brownish purple. It's very, very opaque. So I've done this in 2 thin coats. I've treated it similar to how I would treat a black gel polish, just going in nice and thin. A little bit goes a long way, and all of the Kiki colours are very opaque and have very full-on coverage to them. So I always use them in 2 thin coats. Now on this nail we're going to do a French, and I'm going to show you how I do my French with a stripe liner brush. So I'm going to load up my stripe liner brush, come across the nail where I want my French smile line to come down to, and then kind of do like an upside down A. So we're just going to come in and do the side wall lines, bringing these in how far in you want the wings of your smile line to go. So I didn't want them to come in too far. I want this to be quite elongated, and then we're just going to come in and fill in that tip, and then just round off those corners that are there from going straight across the nail. And then just using that stripe liner brush, I'm going to go over everything to even all of that colour out, looking at the nail from all angles. So if I need to come in and touch up either of the sides, I can. We popped that into Cure for 30 seconds, and then we're simply gonna repeat that step again just to make sure that the color is gonna really pop, because we're going to do our second coat. And I feel as though this color over the espresso is absolutely stunning. I did also do a video on Friday on the Kiki London channel doing this color, so copper dust, but with mulled wine, which is the purple shade that's in this collection. We didn't use it in today's video, but oh my god, those two colors go beautifully together as well. We're then going to come in and finish off with a layer of top coat. I did have a little bit too much on my brush, so I got rid of some. So we're just going in with a nice even layer over the entire nail, and I would happily wear a full set of this French, and I'm not usually a full set French kind of girl. Moving on to the fourth and final nail, we're going to come in with a Chestnut Brown, and in one coat this is a little bit sheer, like I went in quite thin with it, but once you come in and apply that second coat, you do get the true opacity of the colour coming through. And if you are a red lover, then this one is the perfect autumn red. I feel it's going to work really well for winter as well, and I definitely feel as though this is the kind of red for Christmas if you don't want a full-on bright red Christmas nail but you still want red. This is perfect for that. So again, we're going to be applying some foils on this nail, so I'm coming in with a thin coat of foil gel, and then I'm just going to again very lightly press over the entire nail with that same copper foil, kind of creating a bit of an abstract vibe. Again, really loving how copper looks over this colour. I feel as though all of these colours would work beautifully with copper. And again, if you're wanting a Christmassy nail, but you're not necessarily wanting to go traditional red and gold, this red and copper I think will look beautiful in a Christmas set of nails. But then over the top of that, I'm still going to come in with copper dust. We're going to add even more copper and kind of just create an abstract frame going around the nail, just like a wiggly line, just to add another layer, a bit more depth to the nail. And I'm applying this slightly thicker than I would usually, just to kind of create a bit of an embossed look. If you don't feel confident doing this thick, it's not thick, but if you know what I mean, then you could go in and do 2 coats, but I just did the 1 coat, thickening it up a little bit, and then I popped it in to cure, and it seemed as though it cured with no issues because it's not super thick, but I wanted it to look slightly raised over that copper foil that we've got underneath. So once again, once I've done this, we're going to pop that into cure for 30 seconds and then come in and top coat this final nail. Now, I had a lot of fun playing around with this collection. This is something I like to do whenever a new collection launches, just throw myself into doing some random nail art with it and just seeing what I come up with. All the products I have used today are all from Kiki London, so I will leave their website linked in the description box below. And I do have a discount code for Kiki, which gets you 10% off. And then every Friday over on their YouTube channel, I do create videos as well. So if you want to see more Kiki content, then do head on over to there. I hope you did all enjoy today's video though. Do let me know your thoughts on this design in the comments below. If you enjoyed it, please do give it a thumbs up, as it really helps my channel. And if you're not already subscribed, I would absolutely love it if you hit that subscription button. I shall then see you all again in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.